Hey guys, so once again, excuse the way I'm looking. I just had a shower and I just chucked on Sam's top. I don't even really know where to start with this. As you would have seen by the title, this is a bit of a different video to anything I've ever posted. Even filming this now, I feel like I don't want to make this video just because I feel like the intentions I'm trying to have are going to come across different to what they are, if that makes sense. Basically, I don't want to come across attention seeking in this, and I don't want people to think that I'm doing this for sympathy and stuff like that. I guess the reason that I'm doing this is because it's something that I really find hard to talk about. If you had have asked me like a few years ago, like I probably would have told you everything. In fact, you wouldn't need to ask me because I would have wrote about it all on my Facebook. I'm not going to lie. In my high school years, I guess, everything that I was kind of going through and feeling and stuff like that, like I'd post all over Facebook, and I absolutely resent that now because I just think it was so dumb. And obviously, like, if you're feeling upset and stuff, you need to talk out about it. But the things I used to do just were very attention seeking, and like that's why I think making this video is so annoying. Not annoying, like so hard for me, because I'm just like, please don't think I'm just trying to seek attention. Basically, YouTube is a huge part of my life, and so that's why I want to share this on here, and also because I would like people who are going through the same thing to know that they're not alone. I know when I hear people like talk about things that I'm going through, it really helps me because I can relate and I can be like, hey, like it's all good, like I'm not going through that alone, like and also maybe people who don't know much about anxiety to find out more, I guess. Oh god, I feel so silly. Okay, so today I'm going to be talking about my anxiety. So I've always struggled with anxiety, but then something happened that made it made it aware to me. Like, I always knew that I was anxious and stuff like that, if that makes sense, but something happened that made me be so much more aware of it. So we'll start at the beginning. Basically, it's been like something that has affected my life, and I don't want this to sound like I'm dwelling on stuff or anything like that, because I've had an amazing life. I'm so happy with my life. Like, don't think I'm being like I'm so sad. Like, it's not like that at all. This isn't a sob story. This is just me explaining to you my experiences. So when I was young, like grade 6, I had this thing with Edward Scissorhands, and I was petrified of him to the point where I couldn't sleep. I shared a bedroom with my sister, so it's not even like I was like sleeping alone, but it got to the point where I would sit up on the couch at night because I was too scared to sleep. I remember being sent to bed at like 5 o'clock while it was still light out, so hopefully I could get to sleep before it got dark. I remember like just a lot of things like throughout my childhood, like none of it makes sense. Like, it's all, I think the worst thing about this is I know I'm being irrational, but it's just like something that I can't get over, if that makes sense. Like, even though when I know it's stupid, I'm like, you need to get over this, but I just can't. Even stuff like, every time I stayed at a friend's house, I would call my mum up and be like, come get me, like I can't stay here. I slept on the couch for so long, like I wouldn't sleep in my bedroom because I'd liked to be close to my parents, and that went on for years. Like, this is so embarrassing to say because people are probably going to watch this and be like, you're a weirdo, but I'm just trying to explain like the reality. I slept on the couch until like well into like high school and stuff as well. Like, not every night, just like if I had a bad night and stuff, like I'd sleep on the couch, and like I went through stages of like sleeping on the couch like at least a few weeks. It's always kind of been something that has been in the back of my mind, and like there's been a few times where it's come out, but it wasn't until a few weeks ago where it's been constant, if that makes sense. I've had my things that I won't do throughout my whole life. I got locked in a toilet when I was younger, and now I won't go into a toilet if I can't see like above, like if there's not a gap above the toilet or below the toilet so I can get out. I won't go to like toilets with like certain locks, like if they're not locks that I think I could open, if that makes sense. Like, so throughout high school I wouldn't go to the toilet. I had to go to like a different block all the time, and yeah, everyone was like, why can't you just use the normal toilets? And I was like, I don't know. Even my friends had to come into the toilet with me sometimes. Like, I'm sure people from high school would even tell you this, that they had times that they had to come into the toilet with me because I was like, I'm not going in there unless I'm not alone. That sounds very seedy, it's not. Got a thing with elevators. I've started TAFE this year, and I won't go in an elevator. I take the stairs every single day, and our class is on the 4th. Is either on the 4th or the 3rd floor. So yeah, I won't take the elevator. And they're like, why won't you just like come in the elevator? Like, come on. The last time I took an elevator was my Melbourne trip, and that was literally because I had no other choice. Only stairs were like the fire exit stairs. So I was like, I hate small spaces. Like, I won't go in like certain small spaces and stuff because I'm just like, no, like, and then there's also like the kind of paranoia side of it, I guess. I remember staying up so many times when I was younger and just thinking about what would happen if my family died, or if my dog died, or if, like, I don't know, a house caught on fire, like just things like that, like just such trivial things that people would be like, why are you thinking about that? And I'm just like, I don't know. There's also been times like, I remember there was a time at the show where I basically, if I feel uncomfortable in a situation, there's no going back from that. Once I feel uncomfortable, I have to get out of that situation. I cannot stay in that situation. I physically can't. So at the show one time, we were on a ride, we got strapped in, and then I saw the guy behind the booth like having a smoke, and I was just like, the gun that said like some stuff on fire. So then I was like started screaming. I was like, let me out, like I'm not going on this ride. And I started freaking out, and they had to get me out, like, off this ride. And like the thing is, I'm a very shy person. Like, usually like it's really hard for me to speak up about the way I'm feeling. So like, you know, when I'm uncomfortable, like to the point where I can't be there anymore, because that's the only time I'll be like, I need to get out of here. Like, so yeah, I got off that ride. There's been like a few times where I've had really bad attacks where I can't see and I can't hear and I can't breathe. And so the first time was when I had to get stitches. I had a cut on my arm, and when I saw the cut I was like, oh my god, like that's bad, like that's gonna need stitches. And I ran down and told my dad, and he was like, okay, we're gonna have to go to the hospital. And in that point, like, I wanted to die, and I know that's so stupid, but I was freaking out so bad that I was like I'm so scared. Like, I've never had stitches before, like this is a really big thing for me, like help me. Like, I felt trapped in a life that I couldn't handle, and that's so silly because it was like just stitches. Anyway, so like I kind of calmed down until we got to the doctor's office, and then yeah, he's like, you're gonna need stitches, blah blah blah. We went into the room, and then I was like, okay, like I don't feel okay. Like, I started to, like, it's such a hard feeling to describe. It feels so terrible, and it's like worse than anything I've ever felt before. And in the moment of feeling that, I honestly feel like I would rather die than feel that. And that's something that's really hard for me to say, because I am so strong on being strong, I guess. Like, I don't know how to describe it, like how to explain it, but like, I'm a person that I feel like I never say that I want to die or anything like that, because I understand how precious life is, and I know that you only get one chance at this, and like things do get better and all that kind of stuff. So you'll never hear me saying like that I want to die or anything like that, because I really don't. Like, I love my life, and I can't wait to see where I go and what I do and what I achieve. Like, I have so much that I'm so excited for, but that feeling is just so unlike anything else, and it's so strong. And when I'm in the moment of feeling that, like, it's terrible and it is so scary. I started like freaking out and stuff, and I was like, can I please have like a glass of water? Like, I don't feel okay. Anyway, he put injections into my wound and stuff to obviously like numb it up before he did the stitches. And like after that, like I calmed myself back down, and like it was all like bandaged up and everything. And then I felt better. And then the second time that I had like one of these like attack things, so they've progressively gotten worse. The first one, I just had like a really bad headache, and I felt really like, oh, like I was gonna vomit, and like I started to get like really tingly and hot, and I couldn't hear very well. Anyway, so the second one, I went to hospital just because I was sick, and vomiting and stuff. And then, yeah, so everything was fine, and then she's like, I'm gonna need to do a blood test because this could be appendicitis. And I'd never had a blood test before, and I was like, oh my god, like, and then everything kind of hit me, and I was like, oh my god, like, I was like, okay, what about if this is appendicitis? What about if I need to have surgery? What about if like, the anesthetic, how do you say it? Like the sleepy stuff doesn't work? Like, what about if I wake up in the middle of my surgery? Like, all of this stuff just from like one sentence, so just being like, this could be blah blah blah, and like all of that came from that. And then I started freaking out, and I was like, and like at this time she was putting the needle in my arm, and then I couldn't see anything, like everything, it was kind of like static on TV, like all dots. I couldn't see anything, I couldn't hear anything, I was so hot, I felt so uncomfortable. My poor dad, he was like at both of these things with me, like he must be like, you need to calm down. But yeah, and then my dad was just like kind of helping me through it, like holding my hand and all that kind of stuff. Like, he's very supportive. After the blood test was over and she's like, it's okay, like that's when I kind of started to like regain like reality. It started to like calm down. I'm pretty sure I vomited after this as well, after I got my bloods done. I know one of the times I did because I was in there twice. The second time that I went and got my blood test, I was fine. And every other needle I've always been fine. It was just like because I started thinking about what could happen, and I was just like, oh my god, like, so that one was bad. Anyway, the thing that has sparked this whole video was a few weeks ago. My friend from work broke her finger. She broke it in 4 places, so it was like a bad break, and I think there was like a cut on the front, and I needed stitches. So we were just about to play netball, and they were talking about it at netball, and then one of the girls was like, oh, like I'll show a photo, and I started thinking, oh my god, what about if this is really bad? Like, what about if this is like, I don't even know what else could be bad. Like, I just kind of started thinking, like overthinking this, like, oh my god, like I'm scared, I don't want to look at this picture, like what about if it's really bad, what about if I can't handle it? Anyway, I saw the picture, it was fine, but the thoughts just didn't go away, and I was like, Sophie, like just calm yourself down, like it's okay, you saw it, it's fine, everything's fine. But it was just too, like it had progressed too far, like there was no coming back. I started to feel really, really ill, and I took my jacket off, and I didn't want to say anything to my sister because like I just knew it was so silly to like feel this way over something so small. Well, that's how like I felt. So I was like trying to like just calm myself down, but it got to the point where I turned to her and I was like I really don't feel good. And then, so like I took my jacket off, and I just remember that I wanted to, like I felt like I needed to rip my skin off, like I didn't fit in my body anymore, and I felt like I couldn't breathe, and I felt like I was on fire and that I was gonna die, like it felt like I was going to die. I couldn't see anymore, like my vision was all blurred out, and I remember them saying, like, because they were just having a joke at the start, because like they just thought I felt sick. And I think the last thing I remember hearing is one of the girls at netball being like, like don't spill my bag, because like I was like this and like leaning on the table over her bag. And then like I turned around to Jordan and I was like, just grab me, like just hold me please. And so she hugged me, and then I blacked out and I didn't know about it. And then I remember it felt like I was like kind of napping, like I remember this like weird dream in my head, and it was like a spiral, and then just some weird stuff. And then I remember thinking, why am I asleep at the moment, like I'm at netball? And that's when I came back. And as I like, because my like vision like slowly came back, and I saw all these people in front of me, and they were throwing around the word seizure and stuff like that, and I was so confused. I was like, what is like going on, like where am I? Like I had no idea what had just happened. And then Jordan was like freaking out, like I've never seen her like that. Like she's a pretty like resilient person, like she doesn't cry or anything like that, and she was so freaked out. And I was like, what is going on? And like people were like, you just had a seizure. And I was like, what? I didn't have a seizure. So I was under the impression that I had a seizure, and I was like, so what happened was my pupils dilated, so my eyes were fully black, and I was like dropping, like I was like, because I was sitting up and Jordan was holding me, but like I like one side of my face like drooped, and then like I was like falling, I don't know. But they said it was like scary and stuff. But what actually happened was, it was like an anxiety attack, which kind of threw my body into, I don't know, and then my blood sugar levels went all weird, and then I fainted. And the reason that it took so long, because I was passed out for 3 minutes, and when I came to, they were on the phone to the ambulance, like I had no idea what was going on. The reason I passed out for so long was because I kept getting held up, so it was so much harder for the blood to get back to my head. Fun fact, in case you didn't know, when you faint, your body makes you faint, so it lies down, so it's easier for the blood to get to your head. So we went and sat in emergency all night, and yeah, found that out, everything was good. Since then, though, I just feel so much more real about it. Like, anxiety was kind of always just a thing, like, oh, like I'm just worried. It had a big impact on my life, but not, I was never really that aware of it. Like, I didn't really overthink it. But after that happened, I was like, okay, what about if this happens again? Like, what happens if... I don't know. So now it's just a lot harder because I'm conscious of it. Like, I always was conscious of it, but like, it's just so hard to try and explain. So now I'm much more conscious of all the things I do. Like, I hate crossing roads, even at the lights and stuff. I won't catch like an elevator. Like at school, I walk up the stairs every single day. It's just, it sounds like such small things, but like, it's just like everyday things that people would never think about. I hate driving now. Like, I'm always feel like I'm like on edge, like, oh my god, like what about if they crash, all this kind of stuff. I feel so stupid. And I hate that because I know that it's not my fault, and I know that like everyone with anxiety would feel the same way, and that we shouldn't have to, because these things might not make sense to other people, and they might not make sense to us, but like we feel like they're such big deals, even though we know that we're not. But it's just like such a hard thing to get past, and like once you have something in your mind, like it's just so hard to look past that and to think differently and to kind of calm yourself down. I find this so hard to talk about now because I hate crying, and this makes me cry. And I hate crying. I used to cry all the time. I used to cry in front of everyone, and now like the only person I'll cry in front of is like Sam, because I hate it. I hate crying. I hate it. I guess I've kind of learnt to deal with everything privately now, and don't like bringing people back into that, which is so silly seeing as I'm making this video to the whole world. But I need to learn to talk about it, and I need to learn that this is something that I can get past, and something that I'm not crazy for feeling this way. Basically, I just wanted to say, if there's anyone feeling the same way, then please just know that you're not alone, and please know that the world isn't that bad of a place, and that we will be okay, and everything is always going to be okay, and you can message me if you need anything. People think I'm like lazy and stuff like that, but everything seems so hard. You can't do anything without stressing. For a normal work day for me, like I have to stress about going to sleep, then I have to stress about making sure my alarm is on and then I wake up, then I have to stress in the car driving there, then I have to stress about walking down roads. I hate walking down roads by myself. How can that even be? I hate leaving my house. I love school, but I hate going there because I'm away from my family and stuff, and I feel like if I leave them, it'll be the last time I ever see them. I feel like I'm living this life that I can't even live because I'm too scared of something bad happening, and it shouldn't be like that, but it is, and it's okay, because I know that there'll be a day where I'm strong enough to have a look at. Basically, I just wanted to get that out, because it's something that I really struggle with talking about now. It's something that I lock deep away like in myself, because I feel so ashamed, and I shouldn't feel ashamed for feeling this way, but I really just need to start talking about it and bringing light to it and finding ways to cope and to deal with it, and like different ways to think. I really do try and stay positive, because I know that this is the only life I have, and I want to make the most of it, and I don't want to be too scared to have fun and to do things, because I really need to live my life. If you feel the same way, I just want you to know that you're not alone, and that I will be here for you if you need. And I'm so sorry that I filmed this video and that I posted this on the internet. I don't know if this should be something to be posted on the internet or not. I guess if I was giving advice to someone else, I would be like, yeah, speak up about it. Like, you need to get it out. You should not have to deal with that alone. But when it comes to me, I feel like I kind of need to suck it up and be like, don't want you to know about this. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching, and I promise the next video will be a much happier one. And yeah, just basically, if you're struggling, just know that you're not alone and that things will get better. And I know you hate hearing that because everyone tells you that, but honestly, they will. I promise. See you guys in the next video. Bye!